Welcome back, everyone. Look, if you're a focused learner trying to completely maximize how you absorb information, you're in the exact right place. In today's Explainer, we're diving deep into AI-powered personal learning, specifically looking at how we can learn smarter with AI in 2026. We are well past the point where artificial intelligence is just some neat novelty or a fun party trick. Today, AI is this deeply integrated, highly adaptive personal learning assistant, and it's completely transforming the whole shebang: how we study, how we retain information, and honestly, how we interact with knowledge itself.
So, I want to start by posing a pretty provocative question to you. Can an algorithm actually understand how you learn? And I don't just mean what you know, but the unique, idiosyncratic way your specific brain processes new information. It really challenges those traditional boundaries we've always drawn between human cognition and machine adaptability. For a long time, right, the answer was a definitive no way. But as you'll see when we explore the data and the platforms absolutely dominating 2026, that answer has shifted dramatically.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the Modern Learning Challenge.
Now, before we can really appreciate the solution here, we've got to understand the massive academic friction and the heavy workloads of our modern educational system. Just look at the staggering number: 1,500. According to data from HTL International School, this is the harsh reality in areas facing stark teacher shortages. We're literally seeing environments where one single human educator is expected to serve over 1,500 students. I mean, just imagine the mountain of essays. The cognitive and administrative overload there is it's off the charts. No matter how dedicated or brilliant a teacher is, it's mathematically and physically impossible to provide personalized one-on-one academic guidance to a group of that size. In recent research published in Journal Press India perfectly illustrates this exact gap. On one side, we have static learning. This is the old school traditional model where students are basically treated as a homogeneous group. Everyone gets the exact same static e-learning materials, moving at the exact same pace. And what does that do? It inevitably leads to high academic stress and a whole lot of unfinished learning. But on the flip side, we have adaptive AI learning. This is the immediate, real-world solution. We're talking about AI systems that adapt dynamically, offering you an individualized pace, real-time adaptability, and even smart scheduling that perfectly aligns with your own personal learning patterns.
Which leads us to Section 2, the rise of AI tutors.
This brings us directly to the breakthrough solutions that are actually addressing these massive educational bottlenecks. We are witnessing the exponential rise of intelligent conversational systems that don't just, broadcast information at you, but actually interact with you as a learner. To put the scale of the shift into perspective, check out this adoption metric: 60 million. That is the number of monthly active users on Quizlet alone, globally. And get this, that includes 2/3 of all high school students in the United States. So we aren't talking about some niche beta test anymore. This is the mainstream infrastructure of modern study habits. So, the absolutely crucial point here is understanding exactly what these platforms are doing under the hood. They are known as Intelligent Tutoring Systems, or ITS. As the research literature points out, these are AI platforms designed to improve your comprehension and problem solving by dynamically adapting their instructional strategies based directly on your specific performance. They use advanced natural language processing to act as your own personalized digital mentor, basically turning a one-size-fits-all curriculum into a totally custom-tailored journey. Just imagine having a tutor who knows exactly when you're starting to forget a concept and steps in at just the right second. It's a real game changer. Take QChat by Quizlet, for example, which is recognized as the first truly adaptive AI tutor built on OpenAI's sophisticated language models. This completely moves us beyond those traditional digital flashcards. The AI here actually understands context, it recognizes conceptual relationships, and it creates this incredibly natural conversational learning environment. You aren't just flipping a digital card anymore, you're actively engaging in a deep contextual dialogue about the subject matter. All right, moving on to Section 3, the Socratic learning method. So this conversational approach relies on a very specific, historically proven methodology called the Socratic method. Dating all the way back to ancient Greece, this teaching tradition heavily emphasizes guided discovery, meaning knowledge isn't just handed to you through direct instruction. Instead, it's developed through systematic questioning. And what's super fascinating to me is that in 2026, this ancient human teaching method is being beautifully simulated by algorithms.
It's essentially putting a digital toga on your study app, right? The AI challenges your assumptions, it identifies your knowledge gaps, and it stimulates critical thinking by asking you questions rather than just spoon-feeding you the answers. When you look at this familiar mobile interface today, the interaction happening there is incredibly complex. If you struggle with a concept, the AI doesn't just hand you the solution. Instead, it offers strategic, carefully calibrated hints. It engages in this back-and-forth conversation that builds upon your previous exchanges, really helping you recognize the relationships between ideas all on your own. This creates a continuous, real-time feedback loop. Here's how the core algorithm actually works in practice. Step 1. Response analysis. The AI evaluates your answers for deep comprehension. Step 2. Adaptive feedback, where it provides tailored corrections and encouragement. Step 3. Path adjustment. Now, this is where the magic happens. It modifies the difficulty and topic focus on the fly, based entirely on how you just answered. And finally, Step 4. Progress tracking. It's continuously monitoring your improvement to pinpoint exactly where you need additional focus. It's a completely bespoke learning pathway, optimized second by second. Let's shift gears a bit. Section 4. Empowering neurodiverse students. Now, beyond just sheer efficiency, this technology is playing a profoundly crucial role in equity and inclusion. Findings from the 2026 Easy Decade Guide show that the Department of Education and various educational platforms are focusing heavily on what researchers call the long tail of learning variability, and AI bridges a massive gap here. These tools can personalize visual supports and seamlessly integrate advanced text-to-speech. For students with autism, AI can actually facilitate structured social learning. For students with ADHD, the system continuously tailors engagement to help maintain focus. It provides customized, accessible tools that cater precisely to students who process the world in less typical ways. This represents a truly monumental shift, which is summarized perfectly right here, moving from neurotypical to neurodiverse educational ecosystems. The Department of Education's vision is that AI models can fundamentally redesign our learning environments. The goal is that they're no longer built just for the average student, but are inherently designed to include, support, and completely empower absolutely all cognitive styles. Which brings us to Section 5, Teachers in the AI Era. So, with AI taking on so much of this personalized tutoring and adapting to neurodiverse needs, we really have to address the elephant in the room, right? What happens to human teachers? Well, the explosive market growth we're seeing tells a really interesting story. Just look at this projection, jumping from $5.18 billion in 2024 to an estimated $112.30 billion by 2034. But, and this is a big but, educational experts emphasize that this growth reflects how these tools are being rapidly adopted as classroom assistants rather than educator substitutes. Technology has historically failed to replace teaching, and 2026 is for sure no different. Instead, AI acts as this incredible instructional amplifier. Look at the administrative and routine tasks it can handle now, automatically generating comprehensive study materials and quizzes from raw documents, drafting customized lesson plans, and even grading the simpler aspects of student responses. Tools like Google's Gemini are already being used to scale writing feedback across entire school districts, while performance trackers give teachers these amazing class-wide analytical insights. All of this dramatically reduces the administrative burden on our educators. I actually want to read this really powerful quote from an education leader at HTL International School because it perfectly grounds the empathy we need for the educator today. The future isn't about replacing teachers with technology, but empowering teachers with tools to reach every student effectively. You see, when AI handles the repetitive tutoring and the heavy data analytics, teachers finally have the time to do what they do best, actually teach. The consensus among researchers, university teachers, and students is abundantly clear. AI absolutely cannot replace the human qualities that are essential for personal growth. While the algorithms are great at managing spaced repetition and adaptive testing, human teachers remain completely irreplaceable. We need them for amplifying human creativity, extending empathy, nurturing character, and providing that complex, ethical mentorship that no machine can truly duplicate. Which brings us to a final, pretty provocative thought to leave you with today. In a world of perfect AI tutors, where an algorithm can adapt to your exact learning pace, perfectly test your knowledge, and fully optimize your study schedule, what becomes your most valuable human skill? As we embrace this incredible technology to learn smarter and faster, it's really worth reflecting on the unique curiosity, creativity, and collaborative spirit that you alone bring to the table. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into our sources for today's explainer, and as always, keep learning.